It's for them, by them. We've kept that principle. I mean, we've actually walked away from funding things that didn't align with our sense of self and our purpose. And some people say, you're mad. No, 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 no. Nothing's going to dictate
Mhm.
how we run Sheffield Environmental Movement apart from the participants. So it holds up our ethos, and our ethos is that reconnection, re-engagement with the environment that contributes to your physical health, your emotional health, your sense of self, and how you lead your life. That's what SEM is about.
Hello and welcome. Welcome to the Earth, Sea, Love podcast. This podcast is for and about women of colour and our relationship with nature. Hosted by me, Sheree Mack. The Earth, Sea, Love podcast is committed to exploring the experiences of women of colour with Mother Nature. We want to provide spaces where the hidden voices in the environmental and conservation conversations can explore their relationship with the natural world. Inspired by our time spent outdoors, we amplify the voices of women of colour, our stories, our conversations, interviews, photography, writing, and artwork. We'll be exploring our legacies, histories, and memories which have had an influence and effect upon how we perceive ourselves within the natural world and within the environmental and climate justice movements. The Earth, Sea, Love podcast is a space for women, feminine, and non-binary people who are Black, Indigenous, people of colour to explore their relationship with nature. Thank you. Hey, good morning. Welcome back to the Earth, Sea, Love podcast. I'm so glad that you've come back. Apologies on my behalf. It's on my behalf. Usually, when we have 3 episodes, which we're releasing together, we usually drop them together. But hey, life leads us on a merry dance, and that isn't possible this time. But hey, we're still having 3 brand new spanking episodes to mark our birthday today. The 5th birthday of the Earth, Sea, Love podcast, 13th of July 2025. So thanks for coming back. And today's second offering comes from the wonderful Maxine Greaves MBE. And I use MBE there because within this episode, Maxine talks very highly of her boss, Maxwell Iamba, BEM, and makes sure that he gets his title after his name, but doesn't mention her own title. So I mention it so we know who we are dealing with. We are dealing with one amazing person, and it was such an honor and such a pleasure to sit down and chat with Maxine. Maxine is the activities and operation manager of Sheffield Environmental Movement, but it's been a winding, I'm not going to say might have been difficult. It's been a winding path and trail to get where she is now. And I would say that Maxine created the trail, her path, herself, but she made sure she brought others along with her in service of others. So based in Sheffield, South Yorkshire, which is a very green city, been there coaching, mentoring people, and now working to re-engage, reconnect people of the global majority to nature, because we are nature, and sometimes in the scheme of things there is that disconnection. One thing that I'm taking away with my conversation with Maxine is this reminder that the future, our future, is extremely wealthy if we continue to bank our knowledge to build capacity. And this rings true with me and what we're trying to do with Earthsea Love, but then also with the Earthsea Love podcast. We are banking our knowledge with these conversations. We are creating a strong, robust archive which is there to dive into, to share, to go to in those times of disconnection, of forgetting. So I love that Maxine reminded me of that fact. And something that does come up in this conversation, which reminded me of the Tina Camp quote, which was, "The grammar of Black feminist futurity is a performance of a future that hasn't yet happened but must. It is the power to imagine beyond current fact and to envision that which is not but must be. It's a politics of prefiguration that involves living the future now as a striving for the future you want to see right now in the present." End quote. Enjoy this episode. It's a corker. Until next time. Bye for now. All right. Welcome, Maxine.
It's a pleasure to be here with you.
Awesome. So let's just jump right in. I like to situate where our guest is zooming in from. So can you let us know, the listeners know, where you're coming in from, and if you can see any nature where you are at this moment in time?
Okay, I'm situated in, or located in Sheffield, South Yorkshire, a beautiful green city. Was once said to be the greenest city in Europe. I'm not sure if we are because we've lost quite a few trees, and that's another story.
Yeah.
You can Google what happened there. And what I can see, because my house is opposite a park, and I must say, as a child, growing up, we lived 2 streets away from a public park, and I've always wanted to buy a house, be a person that's bought a house across from a park, and I've done it. So that has been achieved. So lots of trees, lots of uh, green space. Oh, what can I see? Some wild poppies. Um, and they're the only ones I can name actually because there's a spread of wildflowers.
Mm.
Uh, I can name poppies, oak trees. Ooh, what else? Lots of hedgerows. Um, yeah, very, very green. Different shades of green. If I could, well, I know it's recorded, but if I could show you, would go, wow. It's just lots of lush vegetation.
Oh,
Yeah,
thank you. You have just said my favorite word there, lush.
lush.
Yeah, man. I don't think it's used enough. Lush is my word of the year. So thank you for that. And isn't it? I was just I've been in the sea this morning, and
Mm,
I was having a coffee in my lovely coffee shop, and I was just thinking like, oh my gosh, it's June already and it
mm.
is blooming. It is blooming, you know? So there's all those shades of green, but there's also some color as well. And I appreciate color. So thank you. Thank you for situating yourself and well done. Congrats on getting that house by the park.
Yes, childhood dreams can come true. And I don't think I thought it was. as a child, you don't think it's not within your reach because you just think everything's going to happen if you see it. And my parents says if you work towards it, not harder, by the way, if you work towards it and you set your mind and you know your purpose, you can actually achieve it. I mean, it's not always a straight pathway, and I think it's not a straight path. You learn from when you're kind of distracted or people try to distract you, or when something doesn't quite go to plan, you think, oh, what do I need to do differently? And that's the learning. We must always appreciate the learning. There's a saying, isn't there? What's meant for you will always be for you, unless you decide otherwise, or you let other people decide otherwise for you. So there's that as well.
Gosh, thanks. Thanks for that wisdom and that reminder. Definitely. And I like that. Not work harder, work towards it with that
Mhm.
purpose. Yeah. And it is that learning process. And I'm totally open and grateful to the learning process, even at this age that I am at. It's a daily process, a daily practice. So thank you. So we met at the back end of April at the talk, the outdoor citizen.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. Yes, and I've been talking to a few people about that event. But before we get into that, let's talk about, so who do you be? What do you do? How did you get into what you be on do now?
It's kind of like, have we got time? Um, those wiggly pathways I was talking about. So I spent probably 25 plus years in higher education at one of the local universities. And my role, which I created, that's the kind of person I am sometimes, yeah, I created was the equality and community engagement lead for a faculty that was the second largest faculty within that university. Um, so and the reason why I created that post and went with shaky hands to the business people and said this would be a good idea is because I'd originally been a central department as a team leader in the university, and people were coming with all their qualifications. This is probably a roundabout way of saying where I've got to, but anyway, you need to contextualize it. So yeah, so very quickly. So, and
No.
people coming to me and wanting to be teachers and had all this wealth of experience and probably the odd qualifications, etc. And I'm thinking, well, why can't they be? What do they need to do? So I sort of kind of like not intentionally, but coaching people and mentoring people to get where they wanted to be. Um, and then the opportunity came up from one of the government departments to a role to look at, the transition from nursery nurses, teaching assistants to gain qualified teacher status. Because a lot of people I was supporting work came out in that bracket. And I went, you know what? That was meant to be. I've been doing this. And if I can make it into something that's recognizable for those individuals, then I've done a good job. Probably too much of a praise for oneself, but I've served a purpose in that particular moment in time.
Yes.
So it was a project that was for 2 years, and it was sponsored by the Department for Education as then one. I don't know what it's called these days. They keep swapping and changing. So I went for it. I went for the secondment. And we've not been for an interview for a very long time. You're kind of like thinking, oh, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? Um, but went for it. There were people who traveled up from all over the place that looked quite efficient, and you think, maybe I'm kind of at my league. But I thought, you know what? I know my stuff. That's what I'm offering you, the stuff that I know, the knowledge that I know. Went through the interview process. Waited for that call at 6 o'clock. You think, oh yeah, and picked it up, and they'd actually offered me the post. And my mother will tell you the shriek that I let out when I got that call. I might have deafened the person on the other side, but these things fall into place. So that was my kind of like my serving people, mentoring, the coaching, and now having the opportunity to put that into practice to develop something that can enable these individuals to transform their lives, but to actually progress, a progression pathway. So that involves setting up a whole new network of individuals working in schools, looking at their experience, looking at the key influencers who could make this happen, looking at designing a program, those access programs, those.
Yeah.
programs, developing something that would be recognizable for the South Yorkshire region and hopefully nationally as well. Um, the report went in, they said, thank you very much. I'm like, no, I don't like the thank you very much. I need to know, we recommended this, what are they going to do? So from then, keeping that network alive, we set up what was it called? Teaching Assistants Network, South Yorkshire Teaching Assistants Network, and we held conferences, we had workshops, we had seminars to invite individuals in to learn about what they had on offer and how they could market that appropriately to gain qualified teacher status. That then led to us input into, I don't know if you've heard of the high level teaching assistants role.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That
Yeah.
was then created. A lot of people who didn't want to go for the full QTS could then land in that spot and still develop their craft, still develop their input to children, um, and still progress and have a recognized qualification. And that sparked for me kind of like that, they have that widening participation agenda. It was kind of like, what else is out there? What else could I be dipping into? So the teaching, we've kind of teaching and progressing to teacher training, we kind of got wrapped up. But there's other things, and I don't see things as separately. So talking to colleagues across the department, it was kind of like, well, there's the social science and politics people, there's the teacher education people, there's the arts and humanities people, there's I think there was six research, and I'm going to forget somebody, but oh, urban construction, urban and regional construction type courses were all kind of under the department's remit. And I thought, well, they ought to be working together
Mm-hmm.
and looking at how, if we're talking about widening participation, that includes the Equality Act, which was then coming into force 2010. How can we wrap that into all the things that we're doing in terms of progress, in terms of learning, in terms of curriculum development? How can we make that a leadership value then that crosses over those boundaries, those borders? And because you can be in a school, but you have a legal department, you have a business department. So you need to know these things. You need to, instead of that silo thinking, in my mind, I'm thinking this should be, interconnected thinking with equality leading it, pushing it.
Yeah.
Because we're creating leaders in my mind, leaders of the future. And part of that was looking at also with the urban and regional, the location of the environment itself and its impact on people. How can I incorporate that into what I am delivering in these seminars, in these workshops, on a wider platform? And that's how the environment began. I held a seminar that was promoting an African writer, a female African writer who'd won Woman of the Year back in, I would say 2014. I invited her as a guest to speak to academics, to speak to students about her journey. One of the individuals that came along to that was Maxwell Ayamba, who's the CEO of the current, who's my boss really, of the role I'm in now. Who knew? But anyway, he came along, was amazed that I'd actually done this, and the different people were accessing this woman's work, and really getting to grips with how interdependent we are, not just economically but environmentally, and also the disadvantage that's being placed on individuals from the majority cultures then, um, and how that and how we can have a look at that and hold ourselves accountable and responsible for, let's not treat people in this way. So again, driving the equality agenda. And we just got talking, and this is like 20 odd years later, working together, him developing Sheffield environmental movement. And he will tell you, I was kind of like kicked him up the book saying, get on with it. Because I'd invited him as a guest speaker. We were co-producing things, co-delivering things um, within the university, across the region, etc., supporting, each other's aims and deliverables. And from that, my interest in the environment just expanded. It just grew. Because if you think about, there's this disconnect with nature, for whatever reason it happens, and we as human beings are getting further and further away, and not realizing that we are part and parcel of nature itself.
Totally. Totally. Yeah.
the very air we breathe. If not for the trees, we're not here. If not for the landscape that we inhabit, even though if you're in a brick house, if not for the landscape that we inhabit, we are part and parcel of it. It's where we go back to. We are part and part. We are carbon material. We go back to that. But this kind of hierarchical thing that they're bigger than nature. No, we're not. Nature can slap our butts at well, it is doing.
It is. It
It
is.
is doing. It's showing us,
Yeah.
stop messing with me. You know, it is showing us how vital, how critically important it is to engage at a level that you understand your importance in that cycle of life.
Mm, mm. Yeah. Yeah, we are part of that. And like let's just take that step back because you've been talking about the Sheffield environmental movement and you mentioned Maxwell Ayamba.
Mm.
Um, can you tell us what is the Sheffield environmental movement? What is its purpose? What has it done? What do you know? Let's
Yeah.
get that.
Okay, the critical importance of Sheffield environmental movement, which is, like I say, it was a passionate concept of Maxwell Ayamba. Now, Dr. Maxwell Ayamba, not forgetting that, is
Yes,
just
that's Doctor.
his
Doctor.
PhD. Back in 2016, he wanted to progress that kind of concept that re-engage individuals from African, Asian, and minoritized groups, re-engage them with the importance of nature, the importance of the natural environment around them in terms of their physical health, emotional well-being, etc. Because some of us have come from from rural settings,
Mm,
and for some reason are displaced, thinking that the rural means, doesn't have value. So it was part of his progressive idea. Let's look at reconnecting individuals from those areas.
mm,
So whether it's from Africa, Asia, or you feel minoritized in this setting,
mm,
let's re-engage them through a variety of activities that included looking at the impact of the environment on your health if you're not breathing in clean air.
yeah,
Let's look at the impact on medication that probably you wouldn't need. I'm not diagnosing, but you probably wouldn't need as much of if you went for a walk in the park and
mm,
settled your mind and had peace of mind from viewing what surrounds you. Let's look at extending that and taking people out because we're very close to the Peak District. It's about 10 minutes away. Either way, out of Sheffield, it's 10 minutes away. Let's look at how we can enable people to go out into the Peak District to look at the farm animals, the environment out there, and the difference from the rural setting here in England to the urban setting here. Let's look at how we can engage them with the arts in the environment. So we've done philosophical inquiries, we've
mm,
done pottery,
mm,
done poetry writing, but set out in the open, in nature, in local parks, in the Peak Districts. So that was the premise of Sheffield Environmental Movement, using and having a deeper understanding about the environment and its impact and your coexistence with it. And that has been recognised. I mean, Maxwell's for doing that work through Maxwell, Sheffield Environmental Movement is recognised nationally, internationally for the work that he does. We're very tiny, very, very tiny. There's myself and Maxwell. We're very, very tiny, but we kick above we kick above the organizational structure, I suppose, of what's deemed to be a successful company. He has won. He's been recognised in the lottery, one of the National Lottery Achievement Award. He won that back in 22, 23. His PhD consisted of that engagement, Peak District engagement with African, Asian, and minoritized people. He was awarded the King's Honours in I'm going to get this wrong, 2023, 24. So he's now got a British Empire Medal. And we know the controversies that go with that, but that's our business.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm not gonna. I'm not defending or whatever. He was recognized for the work that he has been doing in the environment for
Mm.
individuals who look like us.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So for me, that's more than championing. That's pitching yourself above what could considerably be an organized, racialized environment, and it
Mhm,
still is today.
mhm,
So that's what Sheffield Environmental does. It provides uh, the space, and it's we hope it's safe, but nobody can ever be safe in some spaces. But we hope it provides a safe environment for people to build their confidence, to build their knowledge about the impact of the environment on themselves and how they can lobby for improvement, even if it's just setting up a local allotment or a local gardening club or just going into your background, inviting people around for an evening of samosas, whatever it is, because it's always culturally representative.
mhm,
And I mean representative as the individuals who take part own what we're doing.
mhm,
We're not a top down, we're not a silo. We work in genuine partnerships with the groups we work with, the South Asian ladies, the African Caribbean Elders Project, the African Caribbean Women's Group, for example,
mhm,
the college students, the English as an additional language, those students who come, they're all interrelated and they work together to have that enjoyment, to share their learning, to share their experience. That is what makes Sheffield Environmental Movement uh,
mhm.
a different animal then to the we're to do with, not doing two.
Yeah, a four. It's a four and a with.
From another initiative I'm involved in, one of the students said, which is called the Principles of Success. One of the students said, it's strange to be in an environment where everybody looks like you,
Mhm,
which is what we offered them. And this is for us, by us.
yeah.
The student's name was Jade. I can't remember her surname, but I always remember that.
Mhm,
And and to see that look of, you know, that strong sense of belonging, strong sense that of value that they were sharing, the same is replicated in Sheffield Environmental Movement. It's for them, by them,
yeah, yeah.
and we've kept that principle. I mean, we've actually walked away from funding things that didn't align with our sense of self and our purpose. And some people say, "You're mad." No, 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 no. Nothing's going to dictate
Mhm,
how we run Sheffield Environmental Movement apart from the participants. So it holds up our ethos, and our ethos is that reconnection, re-engagement with the environment that contributes to your physical health, your emotional health, your sense of self, and how you lead your life. That's what SEM is about. But even though we're very small, we partner with like-minded organizations and we challenge the larger structural organizations, which we all know the names of,
yes,
to,
yes.
to redefine what they consider to be um, equity, engagement,
Mhm,
and the doing to agenda,
yeah.
because the learning has to come from them. They own that the racialization of other individuals comes from a structural power base. We know this.
Yeah.
We're not there to deconstruct that. I ain't got time or the energy because to me that's distraction. However, we can have those conversations and you've got to actively put those things into place.
Yes, yes, yeah. Oh,
If you give me a policy and you say we're going to do X, Y, and Z, I want to see the X, Y, and Z in operating
in action.
strategically in action,
Yeah,
strategically and in action.
yeah. If not, it's all hot air and you're just giving me lip
Oh,
service here.
too much hot air and too much lip for voluptuous lips, but not when false. No, 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 no. Not when it's Botox, when it's false. No, I like genuine, luscious lips. There you go.
Thank you, Maxine. Thank you. That we align, we totally align with you, C Love, and you are totally, we're on the same page. What is also in it's that interconnectedness, but then there's also what you were saying is like it's on the practical level, it's on
Mm.
the, it's on the going out, but it's also wanting to lobby and affect policy and do the research. This is what's happening on the ground. These are the actions that need to be taken, and actually keeping these wider organizations accountable to that.
Mm.
to that. It's like if you're thinking about equity, if you're thinking about this inclusion and diversity and all these buzzwords, it's like, but let's put it into action, and let's make sure that you are listening to
Mm.
us, and that is the proof in the pudding. If you're listening to us, then these changes are coming into place. So yeah, so I love that. I love that. And again, as you're saying, there's only two people in that organization, but are shaking and making waves and agitating and doing it with joy, doing it with joy. Um,
Oh yes. Um, and for me, that's what our connectedness with nature, that's what it gives you, and it's free. And I know because of the marketization of the countryside, it exists. There you go. Um, got the proper boots, the proper this, proper that. Listen, you know them hand-me-down stuff.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Drink, come, share, etc. That's what we do. If we
Yeah.
can get new, we get new. If people want to donate, thank you very much. We're taking that.
Yeah.
So nothing should stop anybody from, if you want to go walk in your local park, some comfortable trainers, that's fine.
Mhm.
If you want to take it, and this is what I'm saying, that first step is just a pair of comfortable trainers. There you go. Nothing should stop you. Nothing should stop you strolling with your children through your local park, down your local street, getting out and about and seeing what's out in your environment. That's free. It's
Totally.
everything basically free. But anyway, we know what goes on with it.
Yeah,
It's
yeah. No, no, we get that premise, and we totally agree with that premise. So let's talk about, you just mentioned kids and your childhood and that nature connection. Was that part of your childhood or your heritage?
yeah. Oh gosh, I can't think of a time where I wasn't out and about. My mum will call me Walk Street Maxine. There you go. She will tell you. And she will say you was always the leader. That was just how you are. You was from a child. She goes, you was the leader. And I'm like, okay. But yeah, the curiosity I think stems from my parents. I mean, when they bought their first house, we had what I thought was a huge backyard. I've been back since, it's tiny. But anyway, as a child, it was a huge backyard. And we were always out there. We were always out there cutting down the buddleia and making perfume from it. No, just child stuff. Collect it. I would not touch a worm now, but in the day, yes, I used to collect worms. I wouldn't do it. It's amazing how you grow out of these things. Collecting worms, trying to do a worm farm, growing things, potatoes, cabbage, carrots. Just love being outside. And like I said, 2 streets from where my childhood home is a park, and we would go as a family to the park. Um, there were probably 4, 5. I'm going to forget 4, 5, 6 African Caribbean families on our street. We were in the middle, and on May Day, our parents would dress us, and we'd go to the park, celebrate Whitsuntide, and we go to the park, and we'd ramp. Um,
Would
it, ramp, sorry, play. you know,
Yeah. No, no, no. I
in-
haven't heard it in so long.
yeah, we go a ramp, and it was the parents would know. There'd be like 30 children, and
Mm,
we'd be running up and down on the swings, etc. Parents would be chit-chatting and catching up.
mm.
Um, yeah, and we'd just play.
And this is Sheffield.
To Sheffield, and we'd roll down the hill. You know those games you play when you roll, so who can get to the bottom of the hill on the grassy verge, and you'd roll down, make yourself into a log and roll. We'd have simple things like that. Climb trees, um, collect conkers, collect what do you call those seeds? Sycamore things. The helicopters. We do wishes with what do you call it? Dandelion clocks.
Yeah.
Watch them physically blow and watch them float. And that was our curiosity. There
Yeah.
was also I remember there was also a ravine, and it looked like we were mountaineers with this ravine in the park. And we'd run down, there'd be a stream of water, but to us it was like a river, a roaring river. It's just a trickling brook, but. But to us, it was a roaring river, and we'd build a bridge across it, with the old bits of wood that had fallen down from the watching trees. So we'd do that. We'd build dams. Not a very good idea, really, but we'd build dams to stop the water. Oh, always just have a rope swing and just swing across this raging river, which was actually a trickling brook. But our imagination was heightened
Mm.
I think at that time we were becoming cultural producers. We were looking at things in a different way because we were out and about getting our parents in. Well, you were getting muddy, but you were enjoying the outdoors, and
Yeah.
that was a huge chunk of my childhood.
Like two things there. Do you think it was possible because you had that number of families from the Afro-Caribbean together in the same place? And the second one is like, have you passed on this love of nature and connection with nature to your kids?
I think having, I mean, you didn't think about it at the time, but
Mhm.
having other families, it gave you different perspectives on how their parents parented them
Mhm.
as well. There's certain things I would do, and they go, I mean, I think so, and I'm like, come on, no, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let's just, I'm a, you see, leader. Let's just have a go. Um, so I think it gave me a solid foundation in terms of the value of being me, the
Mm.
value collectively of the people who are of my community who look like me as well. Um, that was solid. That was solid, and it gave me the different perspectives as well on how people thought about play. For example, my mother is a get down on the floor and ramp and roll with your children. There's a book on that now.
Yeah.
My mother is kind of like the one massage, you go to sleep, the oils and stuff. Book on it now. To my mum, that was natural, natural. Um, Also disciplinarian, and my dad as well. My dad would say, get the clock out, and you'd read the clock. He would turn the Big Ben clock, and you would set the time, and you say, "What time is that?" So you were always hands-on learning, even playing dominoes or cards, numbers. You didn't think about, but you were doing maths, matching the dominoes.
Mm.
You're doing maths and all these kind of like applied. You were always applying yourself. And you were part, like I say, you didn't think at the time, but you were part of a wider community as well that like I keep saying look like you, but because representation is a bit naff. But yeah, people who look like that was I don't know what normal means. That was kind of like a living um testament to the value of us. I could see it, and those around me, they were living it. We were living it. Yeah, so there's that. And in terms of my children, I've taken my children. I mean, yeah, my parents used to take us for walks. I mean, that's you just do that now, don't you? We'd go for walks. We'd walk where we live. We could walk into the city centre of Sheffield, and we'd walk back just to see what's there. We'd walk to the local library and sit in there and read books, and then we'd walk back. It was not walking was not a peasant or a chore thing to do. Walking was inspirational. Walking opened your eyes. You could see different things. And my dad would point out buildings, and so I've got an interest in architecture. Didn't know it was called architecture, so I go, yeah, I can see that. Yeah, the difference in different buildings. But as a child, you weren't thinking that. You just people just pointing out things of curiosity to you, and you were just absorbing that. So yeah, we did theatre. I had ballet lessons. You got to think I'm middle class now, but no, we weren't. I had ballet lessons. Went to library trips, theatre trips, walking, a lot of walking. Even to carry the shopping from the market, yeah, walking, choosing the fruit from off choosing the vegetables, etc. To make your bag lighter. You used to weigh it up and think, I'll just carry this, mum, that's fine. Una can carry the hard bread, it's fine. I'm just carrying the light stuff. But yeah, just weighing up and things like that, but not thinking it was anything that had a class attached to it. Do you see what I mean? And bringing up my children, I've done the same. We've walked to the shop, and even though they've gone, yeah, we can get the bus. No, 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 let's walk. We've walked. We've been to the theatre. We've been, exposure to the seaside. Yeah, we always went. Yeah, exposure to the seaside, exposure to the outdoors, Peak District. You name it. We have done it. We have done it. So they have. I'm hoping because they've done something similar, that is instilled. The connection, this connection is still there. Even with my grandchildren, I had my youngest granddaughter with me at the weekend, and she loves to walk. She's 2. Are we walking, Nana? Yeah. It's not something that she's like, oh, boogie. No, 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 no. Walk. And she will say water because we had a bit of rain. She'll water and she'll jump in the puddle. No, that's it. Get a sense of that, you know, that sense, that the rawness of nature, the rain, the snow. She will tell you. She's two. I mean, I've got a recording of her saying it's because we came back from somewhere and it was getting dark. She goes, it's dark, and I'm like, yeah. She fell asleep because she was tired. Got up in the morning. She goes, oh, it's not dark anymore. The sun is shining. What? That? How powerful is that? The sun is shining. I'm feeling warm. The water's gone. Connection, heat, water, gone.
That's it. It is. It comes back to that
You
connection.
need science. There you go. So,
Taking it in from that early age, from like, yeah, it's a beautiful thing. And just hearing you talk, it just reminded me, yeah, yeah, we used to walk every night after tea, you know,
hmm.
and it wasn't, you know, a big deal. It wasn't anything special. It was a case of like, we're going out, we're just gonna see what's around, you know, we're just gonna, you know, it was feeding our senses and our curiosity. Um, that was part of our lives.
Exactly. It wasn't something different. It wasn't a leisure activity. And it wasn't, you know, you have to do this your extracurricular activity with, oh, sorry, you know,
Burning calories or getting your steps in.
yeah, it wasn't sold to you as something. It
Yeah.
was a natural occurrence.
Yeah. It was what it was. What was?
Yeah,
It was. Yeah. So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I love that. And thank you for that reminder because yeah, that
Mm.
is something that I forgot. So thank you. Thank you for that. And like I'm looking at the time. So like the last thing that I want to ask you is like the future. What plans have you got for the future? What's on the horizon for you?
Oh my goodness. My, I think I keep saying to people when I talk to them, no matter what age or whatever, is an understanding of your purpose and your why. It's
Mm,
the sweetest thing you can acknowledge if you know your purpose and you know your why, because that directs you in ways that your learning increases, the value of self increases. And sometimes we're afraid to do that because we're afraid, we've been taught to be afraid of what other people might think. Other people can't read your mind. Other people do not know what you're thinking. And it's also none, I tell my children this, none of your business what they're thinking about you either. You know? So in terms of the future, continue to grow. We want to grow Sheffield environmental movement, and the ownership belongs to the people that we connect with. So that's for me is the growth. When they are comfortable, confident, and feel courageous in some respect to take on those skills and knowledge that we have co-developed together, and they're leading a walk, for example, because we've invested in a walk together initiative with
National Trust, is it?
National Trust. So that's part of our growth. It doesn't feel onerous because you've already been doing it. So we're taking it a next step you're recognized for doing it. So that's part of our growth plan. Continue to influence policy at Whitehall level or wherever level it sits, locally, nationally, regionally, and internationally. Continue to do the research that's impactful, that we can definitely see the fruits of our labor being delivered in other areas of. I know they call it good practice, but you should be doing it anyway. For that, the research hitting home, research forming practice, and we can see on a daily basis, not when it's Black History Month. 365 days of the year, we want to see this practice from those who are part of statutory bodies, from those who are the local community who have more power than that, or they understand, have more power, but them to develop and shape what happens locally for themselves. And I'm going to say the other thing is wealth. Now, wealth, not riches, wealth in terms of extended knowledge. For
Mm.
me, the future is extremely wealthy if we continue to bank our knowledge, and when we make a withdrawal, that withdrawal is into sharing that knowledge with the young people and building capacity. Knowing when to step back when we facilitate that learning. Knowing so for me, the future is I know when to step back, but other people know when to step back and saying, "Oh, no,
Go,
young people, come on."
go, go do. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
We offer placements as well. I'm my placement initiative as well, because I like to stand back and say, go on, let's see what you can do. Otherwise, they're not going to learn, are they? And so,
Exactly. If we keep doing the work for them, or keep holding their hands and not letting them, it's like go fly,
yeah,
go, and it's okay if mistakes happen, or yeah, because that's part of it all. That's learning. And
that is how you learn.
totally.
Children will say to you, my mum says she cut the umbilical cord long ago. So that's what I do with the young people that come on placement with us. And that's what to grow that going forward is to step. I'll give them a problem. I say, yeah. I step back and I watch them develop. I watch them problem solve in the real time rather than be. I go Lego the spoon. There's no spoon feeding here. You need to negotiate and navigate now. Who do you need to support you with this work? Who do you need to talk to? What is it you need to know in order to deliver on this? And then I stand back and I
Mhm.
watch them flourish.
Yeah.
Not struggle, not survive. I watch them flourish. So that's part of my continued growth plan. Future thinking is, wealth in terms of knowledge. Every individual I come into contact with having an understanding of their purpose and their value and the sweetness that comes with that. Because that's again how you build capacity. There was something I read the other day, and it said, drop the E out of emotion. So you're in perpetual motion, and that to me is where we should be always going, that moving forward, that motion, that articulating our knowledge in the form of movement. See, I'm using articulation in the right way, not because you're black and you're a good speaker. Mm-mm, mm-mm. Articulation of movement going forward. All them tropes, those tropes are designed to block. Come on. And when people say to me, and think you love, when people say to me, oh, it's a barrier, I'm like, go about your business. I'm not interested. I'm really not interested. I don't think we understand how powerful language is. When somebody says to you, so in my growth plan, I mean, when people say I will challenge, but people say to me, oh, it's a barrier for them. For whom? Why are you dropping the barrier into this part? Go along with it. I don't see no back motion, always moving forward. If you talk about barriers to me, I know you're a blocker. Move out my way.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
No time. When people start dropping those kinds of words, I have no time because my future is wealth, knowledge, purpose, knowing my why, exchanging those kinds of goods for other people who are moving forward. So that's the future for me. But and we're there. We're in it now.
In
We
it
keep,
now.
we're in
That's
it, we're in it now. Some people forget the present is your future because
yeah,
nobody know what happened tomorrow. So
yeah.
you got to do the investment now.
It's that creating that world that has to be now. It is a case of like it is.
It is now.
Yeah, yeah. Awesome. Thank you, Maxine. Thank you. It's been lovely, lovely connecting with you. It has been. So thank you for your time, your energy, and your motion, that forward moving motion. Thank you kindly.
Been a pleasure. And I'm just admiring your wallpaper because I'm like, that looks familiar. Oh, it's amazing. And you painted it the same. Is yours an off-white? Is it kind of
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's sort of
that
like
same color?
got a hint. It's a hint going on. But I've been admiring your art selection that's on your wall, and I just
Oh, yeah, I love if anything that's um I think the colors themselves are I call it living colors. The
yeah.
oranges, it's kind of like reflection of the natural environment. The oranges, the browns, the greens, the blacks, particularly the black. The black framing for me is a reminder of the African diaspora. So all my for listeners, all my paintings have black frame around them. And the artist that's represented is Matt Small. Most of it is Matt Small. Uh, there's a Sheffield connection as well with Pete McKee, who does he does kind of like these cartoony kind of characters. But some of his work then that you can recognize yourself in some, not all of it, but you can recognize Sheffield because it's very much Sheffield art. But you can recognize yourself in terms of the music that he likes as well. A white artist, but yeah, Matt Small's African descent, and his stuff is amazing. Recycled art he does, amazing stuff. I'm plugging him.
Yeah,
And
do that.
Claudette Johnson. I've got some Claudette Johnson again. Um, African diaspora artist. Who else have I got? Oh,
From that.
Keith Piper. Keith Piper. Yeah, Fiesta Gate. I could go on.
Yeah, thank you, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll put these links in the show notes as well,
Mm,
so people can look further and enjoy this conversation with the visual and maybe some music going on there as
yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Thank you, Maxine. Much
You're very welcome. Thank you for the opportunity. It's been a pleasure as always reconnecting with you. And again, you're part of the wealth going forward. You're part of the motion. So we'll reconnect again.
appreciated. Totally.